Leg 6 of my journey began at a lovely bed and breakfast in Rosslare called Tusker House by the Sea that I was lucky to get because someone had canceled. It was only 10 minutes from the Europort, so I was able to walk to the ferry departure. I had walked all over Rosslare looking for a room, and 2 friendly innkeepers coordinated between each other to find me a comfortable stay. It was an absolutely gorgeous summer morning and a windy ride across the Celtic Sea. This is by far the biggest boat I've ever been aboard, and it was a relaxing 4-hour ride to Pembroke dock. I don't particularly like being the camera person, and I hate making people nervous if they think I'm recording them. But still, I wanted to capture the vastness of the sea. Inside, I napped, ate breakfast, and booked train fare for my trip further into Wales. When I disembarked at Pembroke dock, I tried to exchange some currency at a place called Post Office Travel Money, but evidently I picked the wrong one. They advised I try the high street, and I was in no mood to hike around with my stuff, so I decided to take care of that errand in Swansea, Welsh name of Abertawe. The train was great. I felt like I had it all to myself. Once I got to Swansea, I checked into my hostel called the Cooch Hostel. On the way to Tesco, I marveled at some architecture, the rebuilt St. Mary's Church, and the old courthouse with its homage to King Edward VII, impressively carved in Bath stone. For unknown reasons, this corbel caught my eye. Maybe it was because I was being watched through this CCTV camera, or maybe it was because I was picking up residual energies from a former architectural detail which used to reside a few feet down from this edifice. In the 1890s, a local architect who was miffed about being overlooked for a St. Mary's redesign created a statue called Old Nick and affixed it to some brewery offices he had built across the street. The disgruntled architect famously said, "When your church is destroyed and burnt to the ground, my devil will remain laughing." The church actually was bombed to the ground by the Nazis in World War II and was rebuilt in the 50s. Old Nick found a new post on a nearby shopping center, but he now resides in the Swansea Museum. Another Swansea marvel is the Swansea Castle, which is situated right in the center of their downtown, at the mouth of the Tawa River. The first castle was built in 1107 by the Norman nobleman Henri de Beaumont. It was first sacked by the Welsh between 1113 and 1116, and over the next century it changed hands a number of times. Those previous constructions were timber, however, and this stone one wasn't built until 1220. The castle was added to continuously throughout the 1200s, when it became known as the New Castle in the 1280s. It was officially dubbed a ruin in the 1650s, but it was ruined even further by the same bombings that destroyed St. Mary's during World War II. I find this kind of ruin endlessly fascinating, mostly because as a U.S. citizen, we just don't have such living monuments to history. But that's probably because the original settlers destroyed the mounds and earthworks, or outright built over them, in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Wandering around the next morning, I was pleased to find a vibrant art scene in the town. It reminded me of the scene back at home in Kentucky, which is fitting in a way because Cymru, the original name for Wales, is the root for the word Cumbria and Cumberland, which is near and dear to my heart. What with the Prince Madoc legends and all. I've talked about this in previous videos. I'll leave some links in the description box below. Then it was time to get back on the train to meet my friend Gwennan in Bath, England. Gwennan and I have been friends since we were 6 years old. We went to 11 years of school together, and we were massive Duran Duran fans in the early 80s. We always dreamed of going to the UK, so this was a real bucket list event for us. These are my bedroom walls circa 1985. We've taken a few trips in the States. These pictures are of us on a recent trip to New York City in 2023 with my sister. Gwennan has fabulous taste in architecture and interior design, and she booked us a one-night stay at an Airbnb that was a barge on the Avon. Again, I'll put a link in the description. It was comfortable, close to everything, and the hosts were just the nicest people imaginable. They let us drop off our bags early so we wouldn't have to lug them around.
So cute.
Again, we couldn't have asked for better weather. It was sunny and low 80s, which is hot for England, but pleasant from where we come from in the Ohio Valley.
Oh, yes.
We wandered around and had a lunch and marveled at all of the Bath stone. Bath stone is a type of oolitic limestone that is naturally found in the area and was formed during the Jurassic period. Again, I was reminded of a place a little north of Kentucky, in Indiana, called Bedford, where the stone is of a similar variety and was the source for many 18th century buildings in the States, including Washington, D.C. These correlations may be meaningless to some, and that's understandable, but for me personally, I couldn't ignore the similarities between Georgian and neoclassical design elements. After a restful night, we got up early the next morning and prepared to embark on a train trip to nearby Bristol, England, to pick up our rental car for the next 3 days.
What was it called? The Pulteney? The Pulteney Bridge?
Is that it?
I think that's what she said. Which is the same name as that boat tour. It was William Pulteney. Avon Tuz.
Oh, go ahead, it's fine.
We were reluctant to leave this little piece of heaven on earth, but we had 3 days of a festival to get to in Dorset and had to get that car. After stopping for coffee in the train station, I happened upon this young adult novel by Liz Hyder entitled The 12. A one-line review from The Observer calls it a beguiling tale of ancient magic, good and evil, deeply rooted in the Welsh landscape. We'd be getting back to Wales in a few days, but for now we were on our way to Bristol to pick up the car to take us to Dorset, specifically Wareham, where we were going to see a music festival called The Rustic Stomp.